Yeah, I'm just as shocked as you are. Crest are getting buffed in Grand Summoners. Good lord, dude, this dev team. These guys are like, you know what? Buff everything. I'm not complaining though. It's better than nerfing everything in the game. And it ends up like launch Destiny 2. That wasn't a good time, good lord. So, as the title says, and as I just pointed out in the beginning of this video, Crest are getting buffed. Yep, you heard me right. There is some crests that are getting buffed and actually may even be considered optimal now for some characters. And not only that, we have a brand new crest palace coming as well, which is Shrine of the Cursed Claw, which gives us a brand new crest called Magic Circuit Y. And this is coming out as soon as maintenance ends. So how this will probably work is if you already have these crests on your units, they should instantly be buffed up. So don't think you have to go farm a new one or anything. I'm pretty sure they'll just buff them up from where they currently are. So let's cover the new crest real quick. Magic Circuit Y at level 4 will give you skill CT down by 8% and equipment CT down 8%. I'm not for sure if this will stack with the equipment CT down crest as well. You guys will have to let me know if you guys have played the Japanese version of the game. And by the way, this is considered a level 100 crest palace, which is the same as Ignis. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I didn't beat Ignis. Then again, I only attempted it like twice. So yeah, I may need to try to do that again. But that's all we know so far about the new crest palace. Of course, I'll probably stream it whenever it comes out, or I'll attempt to do it if I find it too difficult or just annoying. I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna be honest. Before we get any further in the video, let me say this. If you're not subscribed yet, you should subscribe to the channel. 40% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, and it only takes 2 seconds. Cause hey, if you subscribe, you don't have to keep typing in my name on the search bar 24/7 to try to watch my video. It just pops up in your sub box. So hey man, why not save yourself some time and click that subscribe button. 3 new crests also being added after the update, and we also have existing crests will be buffed. Now, let me just say that the new crests that are being added, I actually thought a lot of these were already in the game. And one of them I'm very questionable of. You guys will have to tell me down below in the comment section what this necessarily means. So one of the crests that are being added is actually crit resist. Crit resist getting increased to 13%. This is a very situational crest. I don't think a lot of people's gonna be using it most of the time. A lot of time with a lot of crests, you want very universal stuff, you know what I mean? Where it's just overall damage increases or defense increases. I don't think this crit resist one's gonna see too much light, but it could be definitely a pretty... Next is elemental effect, which actually could be pretty strong. So what this is elemental advantage damage up by a certain percentage all the way up to 18% if you actually get a 4+, and then damage taken for elemental weakness 18% up. So it's a positive and a negative. Either way, it's going to be the same on both ends. So if you get a 4+, 15% damage up, but you also take 15% more damage because of elemental weakness, which if you don't know already in GS, if I'm not mistaken, elemental weakness, if you are attacking at an advantage, meaning that you are like a fire unit attacking like an earth unit, you already get, I think by default, a 20% damage buff. This effect has some use. I don't know if it actually synergizes with something like True Nemesis Crow, where you're able to lower the enemy's dark resist and you're a dark unit, so you're technically hitting elemental advantage at that point. I'm not for sure it works like that, but if it has some synergy with that, I could maybe see this crest being kind of OP. And then last but not least is HP recovery rate up. Now this one is one that I'm kind of confused about. So what this is HP recovery amount percentage up, which goes all the way up to 23% if you have a 4+, but let's say 20% if you only have level 4. This to me doesn't make too much sense, because isn't recovery rate or HP recovery rate up and heal amount up the same exact thing pretty much? Unless recovery amount up means that you start healing more ticks within like a certain duration. Because if you don't know, like, let's say someone like Mako heals 450 HP I think every second for like what, 15 seconds. So if I have HP recovery rate up, does that mean that I'm healing 450 every like half a second or something? You know what I mean? If you guys know the more like detailed description of this, please let me know down below in the comment section, because this one I'm not completely sure about, because it just sounds like heal amount up to me, but it may not exactly work like that. Now moving on to the buffs of Crest. Now some of these I think may be considered optimal after this update. First and foremost, art gauge up is getting buffed. At level 4, you'll be getting 25 arts up at the beginning of a quest instead of 20. If you have a 4+, you will now be getting 35 art gauge up instead of 23, which is definitely really nice. I think this would actually be a lot better if it could actually work on multiple stages, because I don't think that's how it works. But if art gauge up could actually apply like every single stage in a fight, it could be kind of useful in some fights, but I still think you're going to be putting this one on the back burner. I don't think you're going to be using it too much whatsoever. Next is crit rate, BE, and skill CT. All of these got buffed exactly the same. At level 4+, no matter which one of these you have, you will now be getting 18% either crit rate up, BE output, or skill CT down. Here's the thing, this could actually be really good on units that really like skill CT. So if you have a skill CT down crest, you now can get 15%, or if you have a 4+ on that skill CT down, it's damn near 20%. So So I think this one may have buffed up skill CT quite a bit to where, you know, you may consider using it now. The other two, B output and crit rate up, I think these guys are just still, you know, whatever. I don't think I'm going to be using those two. Now this one is one that I'm kind of excited about, and that is break power up. Break power up is getting buffed from 10% at level 4 to 20%. And the reason why I say that this may be a staple for a lot of breakers now is because some breakers, you just wanted more attack on them, you know what I mean? Now a break up, if you have a double crest slot on a unit, or if you're just going for a crest for a specific unit, if you have a breaker, you know, they're meant to break, and now that 20% increase, I think it's definitely worth, like, almost all the time. The only time I may say this isn't worth entirely is if you're, you know, doing this on someone like Duke, unless you had double crest for Duke, which if you did, I'm sorry. But for every other breaker in the game, absolutely, you will want this breakup now. There are no questions asked. You will want this 20% breakup. This is almost equivalent to a free Keon buff, like, all the time. Keon gives you 28% break power for 20 seconds, and it's one of the most used support items just because it also gives you art gauge, like crazy. But 28% break power on top of this new crest, which is going to be another 20% if you have a level 4. Dude, that's 48% break power increase just because why not? So I really like this buff to the break power up. Definitely makes some breakers, I think, a little bit better. And overall, absolutely, you should definitely be putting this on your breakers. I think nonstop. This is like no questions asked now. Next is poison, paralysis, blind, disease, curse, seal, burn, and freeze resistance crest. You know, all the crests that we hate. They're getting buffed to 25%. Well, be honest, trash. Don't even worry about them. Next is status element resistance. It's pretty much the same thing of the last one. It's now going from 10% to 15%. Still trash. Wouldn't worry about it. Heal amount up is actually getting a pretty okay increase here. I didn't think it actually needed one, but it still is getting one, which is now at level 4. You now go from 15% heal amount up to 20%, which is definitely a pretty sizable jump, you know what I mean? Next is cursed poison. I think this is actually the Gondola's unique crest or something like that. This is going B output when near death, a percentage up, which is now 25% or 35% if you have 4+, which is actually a really sizable buff. I still don't think it's worth it, you know what I mean? I don't think it's good whatsoever. Mind of Stillness, which is the crest from Palamecia Crest Palace. This is actually getting a pretty okay attack increase instead of getting an evasion rate increase, which is okay, you know what I mean? If this can stack with attack up, this may be pretty nice because it is going to give you more than like an all stats up. But still, if it doesn't stack with an attack up crest, I don't think it's going to be that good whatsoever. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna butcher this, but I'm pretty sure this is called Incandescence. So Incandescence, I'm pretty sure this is the crest from the Glittering Dragon Crest Palace. This one's kind of interesting because it does give you more accuracy, which is definitely not bad against certain fights, but still don't think it's going to be used too much. And last but not least is Survival Instinct, which I think you get this from the B3 Crest Palace. And this is skill CT down when near death, which before it was 20%, now it's 25%, but if you have 4+, but it's now 35% instead of 23%, so a huge increase there. Still, being when near death isn't necessarily a good option for a lot of units. A lot of units don't need to be on lower HPs to do a lot of things, but it may have some synergy later on with another unit. But guys, that is actually it for all the crest buffs that will be coming out after the maintenance. Tell me down below if you are excited for any of these. Personally, I think the break power up is definitely nice for a lot of breakers. It just sucks that that's kind of like the only major buff I want to say. Maybe heal amount or heal rate up is actually insane. But guys, thank you all again for coming out. It's been your boy Pete. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more. I wish all my grinders out there luck. Hopefully you get some 4+s. If you like the video, maybe +1 luck. Who knows? I know it works for summons. It may work for crests too. But thank you all for coming out again, man. It's been your boy P. And last but not least, man, you guys already know, don't forget to drink water.